I've told a lot of stories about different abandoned places from around the world, but as I got deeper in researching this one, things got a lot more confusing. What I found strange about this place isn't the town itself, but the person who created it.
If you have ever driven to Las Vegas, you've probably noticed a peculiar road sign. It's just outside Baker, California, and it points the way to Zizek's Mineral Springs. Whatever it was, it is not anymore, and here's Jim Brown to tell us how come.
The word Zizek's was coined by radio evangelist Curtis Howe Springer, who said he wanted to have the last word in the English language. And it was the name he gave to a health resort he started building in 1944.
Curtis Howe Springer, born in 1896 in Alabama, his strange career began in the 1930s when he started giving lectures all over the Midwest while making some pretty outrageous claims. He tricked people into thinking he was the dean of a closed university and said that he represented half a dozen institutions, such as the National Academy and the American College of Doctors and Surgeons, all of which don't exist. In 1934, Springer continued his lies through radio broadcasting where he would sell his so-called medicine, including his antediluvian tea, which turned out to basically be a laxative packed up in a tea bag. He would request from his listeners to send him donations in order to get his special cures from everything from hair loss to cancer. Quickly, the Journal of American Medical Association published an article exposing these fraudulent cures in order to warn misled buyers. Before long, Springer had been labeled as a notorious fraud and doctor impersonator by the medical community and was called the King of Quacks. But strangely, Springer's popularity was on the rise as a radio evangelist while he continued proclaiming wildly false credentials, such as being a former boxing teacher in the US Army. And this takes us to where things get really interesting at the creation of Zizek's in 1944.
We have this lovely 12,000 acre estate here that belongs to God. If you want to come and stay, if we have room for you, you'll come and stay for a month. If you'd like to have a package of veranda herb tea, and there's no charge at all. If you get results, a contribution will help. If it doesn't, you owe us nothing.
Just go in. There doesn't seem to be anyone.
And when we arrived, the strangeness of its origin was felt in the air. After getting remarried, to obtain this land, his new wife filed a mining claim for 12,800 acres of the Mojave Desert in California. Springer decided to name the land Zizek's, and he labeled himself the last of the old-time medicine men. He recruited homeless men from the Los Angeles Skid Row to build these simple concrete buildings in exchange for letting them stay there for free. At Zizek, Springer created imitation hot springs by using a boiler to heat several pools, which he attempted to pass off as real to his guests. Just come walk over here. This entire place is insane. Check it out. Eventually, Springer had built a 60-room hotel, a church, a private airstrip, and basically a small town in the middle of the desert.
This is simply just a fit. What the hell? This is literally in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around. Jesus. That's cool stuff.
Put in the simplest words, Springer was an incredibly skilled liar and con artist claiming to be both a minister and a doctor, when all along, he was neither. By the late 1960s, he failed to prove to the government that he was actually mining as he claimed to be, and was taken to court for squatting federal land and false advertisement. He ended up serving 49 days of a 60-day prison sentence and was forced to concede what he had spent the past 30 years of his life building, leaving most of it abandoned.
Oh my god, there's a cave. What? Something definitely lives in there. There's like...
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look at this.
After his release from prison, Springer and his wife relocated to Las Vegas, where he spent the remainder of his life with no further documentation of his activities. The upside of this story, however, is that part of Zizix today has been turned into the so-called Desert Research Center for students to come study the land and the area. Now, the most confusing part seems to be that he was loved by many and truly seemed to bring joy in some people's lives. But since most of it was based on lies, should he be remembered as a con man and a criminal? Or was he simply lost in his own lies? See you on Thursday.
Yo.